Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Indeed Live. I'm Clint Carnes. I'm a career coach. And so I've been career coaching for a little while now. I've started out at the University of Texas at Austin as a career advisor, and then I moved over to Indeed, where I've been doing some career coaching there as well. So I want to thank everybody for joining. Now, before we get started, I do want to acknowledge something. I want to acknowledge the suffering many are experiencing right now and affirm that Indeed stands in solidarity with the Black community against historical and present systemic racism, violence, and hate. We are here to support the full community with compassion and continuous work towards social justice and equality. In the words of our CEO, Chris Himes, economic opportunity, access to jobs, is core to fight against racism, injustice, and inequity. The more Indeed represents the world around us, the better we are at helping all people get jobs. So, we are here today to share the most up to date job search information and resources that we can provide. We want this to be as helpful and relevant as possible for you. So please comment below. Here's a couple things we can start out with. First, what do you want to know about looking for a job right now? And are there any specific topics you want information on? So we've got moderators in the chat who are ready to answer questions, and then next week we'll go more in depth on specific topics based on your responses here. So feel free to start leaving those comments below. While you're doing that, let me tell you about what we're going to cover today. First, I'll discuss some recent changes to our website that make it easier for you to find a job. And then I'll tell you about some employers who are urgently hiring right now. And I'll remind you how to find and apply to jobs on Indeed. Then I'll talk about the current state of the job market before sharing some advice on how to find and perform well in virtual hiring events. And we'll also talk about what virtual hiring events are for those of you who may not know. Finally, we'll wrap up with some of your questions and success stories from the past week. Now, a quick disclaimer before we get started. The information in this video is for informational purposes only. Indeed is not a career or legal advisor. Okay? And just an FYI, you can come back to this video on Facebook if you want to listen to certain parts again, or you can check out our YouTube channel in the coming days, which we will link below. All right, great. So let's get started by recapping some Indeed updates. First, we've made some changes to our website to make finding a job during COVID-19 faster and easier. Now, employers who post a job on Indeed can specify whether that job is fully remote or remote just temporarily due to COVID-19. So if you're looking for a remote job, just put the words remote in the what or where box right there on the Indeed homepage. And if you're interested in remote careers, but you're not really sure where to start, check out indeed.com/career /work from home. One more time, indeed.com/career /work from home. And you can explore remote careers and salary ranges on this page. On a different note, you may be looking for a new job as quickly as possible. So here are some features that can help you. First, Indeed has an urgently hiring tag. So if an employer is looking to bring on new hires right away, they can add the urgently hiring icon to their job postings. Now, if you want to find these jobs, keep an eye out for a red clock near the top of a job posting with the words urgently hiring next to it. Second, you can now signal to employers that you are ready to work immediately in any position. If you'd like to do this, go to your Indeed resume by hitting the person icon in the top right corner and selecting resume. You'll see the option to toggle on hashtag ready to work. This allows employers to find and contact you about job opportunities, where they are, these job opportunities where they're looking for someone to start right away. That is, and if you're looking for a job in a different location, we'll be providing updates about more virtual hiring events in the near future. So keep following and tuning in. All right, now some more things that I want you to tell us about in the comments. First, what else could Indeed do to make finding a job easier? Also, what is your biggest challenge in looking for and applying to jobs online? Again, answer these questions in the comments below, and we've got moderators there. Before we move away from the topic of urgently hiring employers, I want to make sure everyone knows about our Indeed Career Guide page that lists companies that are urgently hiring. It gets updated weekly, and we'll link below. Here are a couple of major national employers that recently posted jobs on Indeed. First, there's Apple, who is urgently hiring and holding virtual interviews for 3,700 roles in a number of states, including California, New York, Washington, Florida, Illinois, and more. Example positions include customer service representative, outside sales representative, retail sales associate, inside sales, and a host of others as well. There's also Home Depot, who is urgently hiring for 22,000 roles in Georgia, Texas, Illinois, New York, California, and of course more. Examples for positions there include retail sales associate, warehouse associate, stocker, and more. ADIS Healthcare is urgently hiring for about 1,700 roles in New York, Illinois, Ohio, New Mexico, Arizona, and of course more. Example positions there include home care aide, certified nursing assistant, state tested nursing assistant, and more. Their apply to hire process takes under 1 week, which means that from the time you apply, it will take less than a week to begin working if it's a fit. And finally, Allstate Insurance is urgently hiring and holding virtual interviews for about 1,200 roles in New York, Florida, Texas, California, etc. Example positions there include insurance sales rep and customer service rep. Now, those are just a couple of examples. If you would like to see the full list, check out the link below in the description or the comments. Okay, couple more questions for you, and we want to hear from you, okay? First question, is it helpful to share these employer updates? And second question, is there other employer information that we would be particularly helpful for us to share? Again, don't be shy, please let us know. Now, let's move into job searching. If you decide you want to apply to a job on Indeed, here's a quick refresher on how. To start searching and applying to jobs, first, you can create or update your free Indeed profile. That will make it easier to apply for jobs quickly once you find roles that interest you. Next, you can browse jobs by location in the search bar. And once you've identified a potential employer, click the apply button and follow the instructions from there. And here's a tip, make sure to tailor your application to the specific jobs you're applying for. Take a really close look at that job description. You should also research the company. You can go on their website and read what they have to say or look for recent articles in the news. Another opportunity is to talk to others who work there. And you can use all this information that you gather to think about how to best position yourself. One more note on applying to jobs before we move on. While you're searching for a job, it's important to stay safe. I can't stress that enough. Some things to look out for. One, anyone who asks you to wire money. Or two, anyone who asks you to provide passwords of any kind. And then finally, if you receive a check via email from an employer. These things are likely scams, and we really want you to report them. We want to know about these posts so that we can remove them from the site and continue protecting people. If you do need to report a job, here's what you need to do. First, click on the suspicious job posting, scroll down to the bottom of the job post. From there, select the report job button that's there and fill out the report this job form. These reports help us remove spam, fraud, and low quality postings and make Indeed a safer place for everyone. Now let's take a step back and look at the economy, COVID-19, and the job market. At Indeed, we have a team of economists that provide insights into what's happening in the job market and economy right now. This week, Indeed economist Daniel Culbertson shares the following. Earlier this month, the Bureau of Labor Statistics gave us some good news with a report of 2.5 million jobs added and the unemployment rate declining to 13.3% in May. In that report, they share that one of the industries most devastated by COVID-19, leisure and hospitality, accounted for 1.2 million jobs added. While this is all obviously an encouraging sign for the overall economy, there remains much ground to be made up. The U.S. labor market is still 19.5 million jobs short of where we were in February. So here's what I take from all this. We're continuing to measure the long-term impacts of this pandemic, and there remains many different paths the economy can take. However, there is some indication that opportunities are slowly beginning to appear as economies gradually open up. Now, if you feel comfortable, consider sharing your thoughts on the shifting job market or how these changes have impacted you in the comments down below. And if you're interested in learning more about what Daniel Culbertson has to say or what's happening right now in the US and global job markets, a great resource is hiringlab.org. Again, hiringlab.org. This is run by our team of Indeed economists. Okay, so this brings us to our next topic, which is our tip of the week. Our tip of the week is on how to succeed at virtual interviews and hiring events. Okay, we've received some questions recently about virtual hiring events, like what are they? And can a virtual hiring event really get you hired? So, our tip of the week is this: set yourself up for success at virtual hiring events by preparing beforehand, arriving on time, looking your best, and leaving the hiring staff with a great impression. So let's first back up a little bit. What is a virtual hiring event? A virtual hiring event is an event where employers accept job applications and conduct virtual interviews in group and individual sessions. Many employers are moving in the direction of virtual hiring events as new developments arise with COVID-19. Virtual hiring events offer the unique opportunity to meet companies without leaving your home. There are multiple benefits to participating in the hiring events that have grown in popularity during COVID 19. Some employers that participate in virtual hiring events are urgently hiring. These events can lead to on the spot job offers, significantly reducing the waiting time in your job search. Plus, they are easy to attend since there's no commute and since you get a chance to make an interactive connection with your employer. And perhaps most importantly, virtual hiring events allow you to stay active in your job search by interviewing from the safety of your home and reducing your exposure to others. You can find virtual hiring events in two ways on Indeed. Relevant virtual and in person hiring events will be included in your job search results when searching for job opportunities on Indeed. And you can search for virtual hiring events directly by typing Indeed hiring events into the What field on your Indeed homepage. These events are being held intermittently for various locales. To find other events, you can also search the keyword phrase virtual hiring events in your web browser or when searching event management websites. Aim to spend as much time preparing for a virtual hiring event as you would an in person interview. A good first step is to read the event description in order to learn a little bit more about what you can expect during the event. For example, look for indications if they plan to make offers on the spot or if this is just the first within a series of interviews. They may also include job requirements or any materials that you should prepare in advance. It should also tell you how to join and participate in the event here. Um, these events may feature a range of hiring employers or just one, but try to prepare for all the possible employers that you may speak with that day. Then take your preparation a step further by reviewing the company websites. It's also helpful to use Indeed's company pages to find reviews from current and former employees about what it's really like to work there. You can also skim Q&As about what their interview process is like and view photos and videos posted to the company's social media channels. You can visit indeed.com/companies and search for the employer name to find their company page. Next, apply all of this knowledge by creating a targeted resume. Review your resume to make sure that you are positioning your experience to be relevant to the jobs being offered at the virtual hiring event. For example, tailor your professional summary to mention that you are seeking the role that you're interviewing for and include the skills and accomplishments mentioned in the event description in your resume. That is, if you have them. It's common for virtual hiring events to be shorter than the traditional interview, so you're going to want to work on your elevator pitch. For those of you who don't know, an elevator pitch is a 1 minute or less summary of who you are and how you can be a good fit for the role that lets you concisely sell yourself during the interview. Finally, be prepared to ask at least one question at the end of the interview. Since these interviews are often short, you might only have the opportunity to ask one question, so you're going to want to make it a good one. So, an example question that you may ask to learn more about the role of the company is how does the company measure success in this role? Now, you can find more examples like that to ask in an interview in the Link Career Guide article 10 Questions to Ask After an Interview. Now let's cover a few best practices for interviewing by video. To avoid interruption, notify others that you cannot be disturbed during your interview time. Leave a note on the door if that's helpful. You're going to want to close any windows, tabs, or applications on your computer that you're not using in order to limit interruptions and distractions. It's also a good idea to pause the calendar and messenger app notifications, and also place your phone on silent. To set the scene, clear your desk space except for a notepad and a pencil to take notes, and have a copy of your resume or any other notes on hand just for reference. Important, very important. Set out a glass of water for yourself. I've got one myself. Like me, you may be doing a lot of talking during that period. You're also going to want to check the background behind you. Make sure it's neutral and free of clutter, kind of like how mine is. Um, Adjust the lighting as needed to brighten the room or to reduce the glare on your eyeglasses if you wear eyeglasses. You're also going to want to dress professionally. Business casual attire tends to be a safe bet. So on a video, it helps to wear solid, soft-colored clothing with minimal patterns. That way, it won't be affected by any camera distortions. It's also best to position the camera so that you are looking up slightly and centered on the screen. Even though it's likely that the interviewer will only see your upper half, be sure to wear professional bottoms just in case you need to stand up. You never know. Body language is also important to be aware of in a video interview. To imitate eye contact, make a conscious effort to look at the webcam, not just the image of the interviewer on the screen. Also, you're going to want to show excitement for the role by maintaining energy throughout the interview. Nodding and smiling when listening is always helpful. Try to avoid fidgeting or gazing at items away from the screen. Finally, it can be tempting sometimes to keep pre written answers to questions on your screen, but this can come across as scripted. So instead, keep your resume on screen or just somewhere nearby for reference, and make yourself some mental bullet points for commonly asked questions. So, in summary, here are the things to remember when preparing for a virtual hiring event or interview. Prepare for a virtual hiring event just as you would for an in person interview. Take the time to research the company, update your resume, and practice your answers to make sure you are positioning your experience to be relevant to the jobs being offered. Also, test your tech. Check your microphone, camera, and internet connection at least one day before the event to make sure everything is working properly. You're going to want to reduce distractions by closing out unused tabs and web pages. And you're also going to want to pause calendar and messaging apps and also phone notifications. And lastly, do not hesitate to take advantage of the opportunities that hiring events have to offer. Prepare, show up, be yourself. Okay? All right, next up, I'll answer some questions from last week. But before I do, I've got some more questions for you. First off, what questions can we answer for you? Whatever it is, please drop it in the comments below. Do you want more information on work from home jobs? Is resume advice helpful? What do you want to know and how can we help? Please let us know. Do not be shy. All right. Now on to our planned questions for today. First up is this question. I have large gaps in my employment. How do I package myself to become a more attractive candidate to employers? So there's some good news here. This was actually the topic of our last episode. We'll drop the YouTube link below, but here's two key pieces of advice. First, consider a functional or skill-based resume as opposed to a chronological one. This can help minimize the appearance of career gaps and highlight your ability to do the job. You should also prepare to confidently and positively address your career gap during the interview and on the resume. Again, I won't go into too much detail here because for more details, you should check out our last video where we can provide some templates for responding to questions about your career gap. Okay, our next question is, I was furloughed, and while some of my coworkers have been brought back into work, I haven't. Should I be looking for a new job? First off, I'm so sorry to hear about this. Now, ultimately, the decision to start a job is so personal and nuanced that the decision of whether or not to begin one is really best left up to you. That being said, it's hard to go wrong with open and honest communication. Consider reaching out to your employer to respectfully ask if they have any sense of whether your furlough status may change in the near future. Our last question of the day is, I was in the interview process for my dream job, and then COVID happened. I reached out a month ago following up and thanking them, and I received an email back saying we would be in touch once hiring was an option. Should I be following up again? And if so, what should I be saying or asking? I don't want to be insensitive, but I'm not sure whether I should consider this a real possibility anymore. Okay, first off, I'm so sorry this is happening to you. Now, given the circumstances, I think checking in more than once a day will be okay. So I do suggest you reach out. It's worth mentioning, though, that so much is up in the air with employers right now that they genuinely may not know when and whether they could resume hiring. However, since it's a dream job, I would try to delicately stay on their radar by following up in a professional email that acknowledges the circumstances and passion for the role. Or your passion for the role, I should say. Whether their response is enough for you to continue holding out, really only you can determine. All right, so finally, I'd love to wrap up today with some good news. It can be easy to feel like there aren't job opportunities out there, but job seekers and employers are connecting every day. And when job seekers get hired, they often choose to share their stories with us. So I'll conclude by sharing a few stories from folks who were recently hired. So one Indeed user wrote, "This job is the next step in my career. Being able to find work during a pandemic and in my dream field is an amazing feeling." Another one wrote, "This job puts me a step closer to where I want to go in my career." And finally, yet another person shared, "I applied and it was so easy. I got a call 2 days later for an interview." To each of these folks, I say congratulations and thank you for sharing your story with us. If you ever need some inspiration during your job search, check out gotajob.indeed.com. Again, that's gotajob.indeed.com. This page shares up to date success stories from users around the world, and we hope that you will share your own there too someday. Well, that's it for this live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let us know if this was helpful by commenting below, or you can like this page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you know of someone who could use this information, consider sharing it with them. All of this input helps us understand what to focus on each week. Now, join us next week for another update. We hope you found this helpful, and we will see you soon.